What's up today, guys? How y'all doing? It's good to see everybody in here tonight. Rocket Queen, Casper, Nani, Tonka Toy. How are you, Tonka Toy? Thank you for stopping in. So how was everybody's day? Hope y'all had a good day. Hope y'all had a real good day. Very long day, I hear you. Oh, I'm waiting for the storms to roll in. We probably had enough of them here. You can have them all if you want them there, Tonka Toy. I mean, we'll probably get some later on tonight, after midnight. What's up, Shane? Hey, Miss PJ. Hey, Lady 7 Up. You must be close to us then. Tonka Toy, you must be close to us. Hope you're doing good, Miss PJ. Hey, hippie grandma. We're over here in Southwest Virginia, right at the line. I mean, we can step out of our room or our house and take maybe 10, 15 steps and we're in Tennessee. Well, they call it the Twin Cities, Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia. I hear you, Lady 7 Up. Mr. Michigan, I hope you're feeling better today, brother. I just got started, brother. You ain't tardy. I'd love to live in the country too, but I don't think Becca wants to live out in the country. Good to hear. Good to hear, Mr. Michigan. Becca gave you a tardy slip, so I didn't think you was tardy, but after Becca got off last night, I was trying to figure out what story to do, and we was going through some things on I believe it was Netflix. Don't get me wrong. Okay, Mr. Michigan. But we've run across some. It's an unsolved mystery from the past, and she thought that might be a good idea. So I thought, well, I'll look into it. And the more I read into it, the more it sounded pretty good. So tonight is the story of Sharon Kinne, however they pronounce it. If you've read, hi Miss Pat, how are you? If you read the description on the bottom of the thing on YouTube there, it's Sharon Kinne. She was also born Sharon Elizabeth Hall, November 30th, 1939. She was also known as Jeanette Pugliese, and in Mexico as La Pistolera. She's an American murderer and prison escapee who was convicted for one murder and is suspected of two other murders in the United States. One which she was acquitted as a trial, and as a 2023, she is the subject for the longest currently outstanding arrest warrant for murder in the history of Kansas City, Missouri, and one of the longest outstanding felony warrants in U.S. history. So, this woman got acquitted of one murder. And got convicted of another, and she was also a prison escapee. So let's go ahead and bring up the story. And I'll read a little bit. Hey, Miss Luna, how are you? Can y'all see that? If not, I'll try and make it a little bigger. Let's see if I can go just a little bit bigger. All right. Can y'all see that now better? Put a 1 in chat if you can see it. That's good to hear, Luna. All right, good deal. All right, what I was reading to begin with was this right here. So we'll go to this right here. Now, this is a picture of her mug shot. June 1st, 1960. It says on March 19th, 1960, Sharon's husband, James Kinne, was found shot in the head with the couple's 2-year-old daughter playing nearby. Sharon claimed that the child, who had often been allowed to play with James's guns, had accidentally shot him, and police were initially unable to disprove her story. Then on March 27th, the body of 23-year-old Patricia Jones, a local file clerk, was found by Sharon and a boyfriend in a secluded area. Investigators found that Jones had been the wife of another of Sharon's boyfriends, and that Jones' husband had tried to break off his affair with Sharon shortly before Jones went missing. When Sharon admitted to having been the last person to speak to Jones, she was charged with a murder, and upon further investigation of his death, that of James. Sharon went on trial for Jones's murder in June of 1961 and was acquitted. On January 1962, a January 1962 trial had charges of murdering her husband, ended in conviction and a sentence of life imprisonment. But the verdict was overturned because of procedural irregularities. The case went to a second trial, which ended within days in a mistrial. What's up, Ghost Devil, my brother from another mother down under? What's up? A third trial ended in a hung jury in July of 1964. Sharon was released on bond following the third trial and subsequently traveled to Mexico before a scheduled fourth trial could be held in October of 1964. In Mexico, Sharon, claiming to have been acting in self-defense, killed a Mexican-born American citizen named Francisco Paredes Ordonez, who was shot in the back. An employee of the hotel in which the shooting occurred, responding to the sound of gunshots, was also wounded but survived. Investigation into the shooting showed that Ordonez was shot with the same weapon that killed Jones. Sharon was convicted in October of 1965 of the Ordonez killing and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Later lightened to 13 years. And sentenced to 10 years in prison. Later lengthened to 13 years after judicial review. She escaped from the prison during a blackout in December of 1969. Despite extensive manhunts, Sharon Kinne's whereabouts are unknown. This woman escaped December of 1969 and still has not been caught yet, guys. This woman would be in her, oh my goodness, December of 69, she was 53, so, oh my goodness, that woman would be, she's probably dead by now. If not, she's very, 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 very old. She'd be longer in her 80s, honey. If she was 53 in December of 69. Let's see. She was born in 1939. Yeah, she'd be close to 100 by now, at least. Sharon Kinne was born Sharon Elizabeth Hall on November 30th, 1939. I got to see, guys. Let's see. Okay, honey, you're right. She'd be 84 today. She'd be 84 today, so November she would be 85. She was born in Independence, Missouri, to Eugene and Doris Hall. When she was in junior high, Sharon's parents moved the family to Washington State. But by the time she was 15, they had returned to Missouri. In the summer of 1956, at the age of 16, Sharon met 22-year-old college student James Kinne at a church function, and the couple dated regularly until James returned to Brigham Young University in the fall. Well, yes, she's changed her name by now, honey. Sharon reportedly deeply interested in finding a partner with prospects who could take her away from independence, wrote a letter to James informing him that she was pregnant by him. James took leave from Brigham Young University and returned to Independence, where he married Sharon on October 18, 1956. The couple's marriage license falsely identified Sharon as being 18 and a widow. Though she later refused to address the assertion, Sharon told people at the time that she had been married when she lived in Washington to a man who later died in a car accident. The new couple held a second more formal wedding the following year at the Salt Lake Temple in Salt Lake City, Utah. After Sharon completed the process of joining the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, after their wedding, the Kinnes returned to Provo, Utah. James resumed his studies at Brigham Young, but put them on hold again at the fall of the summer. The couple returned to Independence, where both took jobs. Sharon babysat and tended shops while James worked as electrical engineer at Bendix Aviation. She was born in 1939. Take 1939 from 2023. She'd be 84. Sharon was reportedly a lavish spender who expected. Wait a minute. Although Sharon claimed to have miscarried the child that had brought about their marriage, she soon became pregnant again in the fall of '57. She gave birth to a girl named Dana. Sharon was reportedly a lavish spender who expected finer things out of life. But on James's salary, they lived first in a rented home next to his parents' residence, then in a ranch-style house they had built at 17,009 East 22nd Terrace, Independence. James worked by the night shift at Bendix, and his wife initially filled her days with shopping and later with other men. By the time the couple had a second child, Troy, Sharon was carrying on a regular extramarital affair with a friend from high school, John Boulders. By early 1960, James was contemplating divorce, partially because of Sharon's spending habits and partially because he strongly suspected her infidelity. He spoke to his parents about the possibility of divorce on March 18, 1960, telling them that Sharon had agreed to give him one if he allowed her to keep the house, gave her custody of the couple's daughter, and paid her $1,000 in alimony. James's parents, devout Mormons, urged him to stay in the marriage. Sharon too was thinking about ways out of the marriage, according to Boldus. She once offered him $1,000 to kill her husband or find someone who will, although he later claimed that she may have been joking. Deaths. According to Sharon, on March 19, 1960, at around 5:30 p.m., she heard a gunshot from the direction of the bedroom in which James was sleeping. Entering in the room, she found 2.5-year-old Dana on the bed next to her father. Dana was holding one of James's guns, a high standard .22 caliber pistol, and James was bleeding from an apparent gunshot wound to the back of his head. Sharon called the police, but James was dead by the time ambulances carrying him arrived at the hospital. Police were unable to recover any fingerprints from the well-oiled grip of the pistol, and a paraffin test for gunshot was not performed on either Dana or Sharon. Multiple people, including family and neighbors, told police that James had often allowed Dana to play with guns, and in a test by investigating officers, Dana proved able to pull the trigger on a gun matching the one that had killed her father. With no evidence to the contrary, investigators ruled the case an accidental homicide. What's up, Fried Peach? The pistol that killed James was taken into police custody and never returned to Sharon. Despite her efforts to reclaim it, she later had a male friend secretly buy her a .22 caliber automatic pistol. When the friend told Sharon that he had registered a gun in her name, she requested that he re-registered under another name other than hers. When the investigation and his death closed, James was buried and Sharon collected his life insurance, valued at $29,000, which is today would be $230,000. Patricia Jones. Patricia Jones was born Patricia Clements, one of 6 children born to Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Clements of St. Joseph, Missouri. After graduating from Benton High School, she married Walter T. Jones, her high school sweetheart. Walter enlisted to the United States Marine Corps shortly after their marriage, and the couple relocated to the West Coast. While Walter served after his discharge from the military, they returned to Missouri and settled in Independence with their 2 children. By 1960, almost 5 years into the marriage, Jones was working as a file clerk for the IRS, while her husband sold cars. Despite his marriage and children, Walter reportedly had a wandering eye. On April 18th, Walter met Sharon when she bought a Ford Thunderbird from his dealership. Um, Using some of the insurance payout from her husband's death. The two began an affair shortly thereafter. Sharon viewed Walter as a prospect for a second husband, but he was uninterested in leaving Patricia. Despite difficulties in the marriage, when Walter declined to go on a trip to Washington with her in May, Sharon reluctantly went with her brother Eugene instead. Although they reunited on May 25th, shortly after Sharon returned, the relationship became fraught when she told Walter that she was pregnant and he was the father of the baby. Walter, instead of responding with what Sharon expected to be an agreement to divorce Patricia, ended the affair. According to Sharon's later testimony, on the afternoon of May 26, she contacted Patricia at her office and told her that Walter was having an affair with Sharon's sister. Sharon then met with Patricia later that evening to discuss the matter further before dropping her off near the Jones house. Patricia never made it to her house that evening, according to her husband. Walter filed a missing persons report with the police the next day and began calling people he thought might have seen his wife. He got a lead when he spoke to the friends of Patricia who carpooled to work with her. They told Walter that Patricia had reported receiving a phone call that day from an unnamed woman who wanted to meet with her. She asked the carpool driver to drop her off at a street corner, which he had done. The occupants of the carpool had seen a woman waiting for Patricia in another car but did not recognize her. They nevertheless provided a description of the unknown woman to Walter. Suspicious of the identity of the woman based on the carpool's general description, Walter called Sharon and asked if she had seen or spoke to his wife. Sharon allowed that she had indeed seen Patricia that day. She had met her to tell her about Walter's affair. According to Sharon, she last saw Patricia where she dropped her off near the Jones house, speaking to an unknown man in a green 1957 Ford. Based on Sharon's admission over the phone, Walter met with her late Friday evening, insisting she give him more details about where'd it go now? She and Boulders found the body of a woman in a secluded area approximately 1 mile outside of Independence. According to Boulders, he had been the one to suggest searching the area in which they encountered the body. It was a spot to which they had often gone on dates before. The body, dressed in a black sweater and yellow skirt, was soon identified as the missing Patricia Jones. She had been shot 4 times by a .22 caliber pistol. Although the fatal wound was a shot to Patricia's head, entering near her mouth on an upward trajectory, she also had one through bullet wound to her abdomen and 2 penetrating gunshot wounds to her shoulder on a downward trajectory through the body. Powder burns on the hemline of the skirt, which had been raised to her waist, indicated the gun had been fired from close range at least once. Initial reports and investigation placed Patricia's death at approximately 9 p.m. on May 27th. She was buried on May 31st. Investigators immediately began to question Sharon, Walter, and Boulders. All 3 were questioned on May 28th. Walter and Boulders both gave written statements admitting that they had dated Sharon, and both agreed to a lie detector test. Sharon gave an oral statement to police but declined to sign a written one or take a lie detector test. She was questioned again on the morning of May the 30th and boldest on May 31st. The scheduled polygraphs for the two men were performed on June 1st, and both men were deemed to have been truthful in their statements. Sharon's brother Eugene was also questioned on May 31st, but declined to answer questions. While police questioned potential suspects and witnesses, other investigators focused on processing the crime scene. Attempts were made to find the murder weapon and the bullet that had passed through Patricia's body, including sifting the dirt of the crime scene for bullets and the deployment of a troop of Boy Scouts to search for a gun. A .22 caliber rifle slug was eventually found buried in the ground where Patricia's body had been found, providing evidence that at least one of her wounds had been sustained at the place that her body was found. Although investigators went so far as to drag the bottom of nearby bodies of water, the gun that had shot Patricia, assumed to be a .22 caliber pistol, could not be found. Buildings near where the body had been located were also searched for blood and gunshot evidence, in accordance with police theories that Patricia had been attacked elsewhere and then transported outdoors. A white powdery substance found in Patricia's hair was initially believed to be trace evidence of some other crime scene, an idea which fueled the search of nearby buildings, but was later determined to be fly eggs. Sharon was arrested at her home for Patricia Jones' murder around 11 p.m. on May 31st, the same night as a funeral. The same day, the Jackson County Sheriff requested where do we go now? The same day, the Jackson County requested the prosecutors consider a second charge of murder, this one for the death of James Kinne. Sharon's lawyers, Alex Peebles and Martha Sperry Hickman, filed a writ of habeas corpus with the court the next morning, and a hearing that afternoon resulted in her release on $20,000 bond while she awaited preliminary hearing originally scheduled for June 16th. Police were able to rule out the .22 caliber pistol that had killed James as the murder weapon in Patricia's death. The gun was still in possession of the sheriff's office. However, a man who worked with Sharon admitted to have secretly purchased a new .22 caliber pistol at her request in the beginning of May. Police were unable to locate the gun in question when they searched her house, though they did find an empty box that they believed once held a gun. Sharon at first claimed to investigators that she had lost the gun on a trip to Washington, then stated simply that the gun had disappeared. Walter was taken into custody on June 2nd as a material witness to the case and was freed the same day on a $2,000 bond. The initial autopsy report performed on Patricia was criticized by police and prosecutors, who felt that the recovery of the bullets and the testing of stomach contents should have been done by Dr. Hugh Owens, who had performed the autopsy. Argued that he had recovered one of the presumed three bullets presented in the body, and that because the body had been prepared by an undertaker prior to autopsy, any chemical test on stomach contents would have been useless. Owens did add that when asked about that he had not seen any food apparent in the stomach autopsy, Patricia's body was exhumed on June 17 in order to collect the bullets that had been left behind at the original autopsy, as well as to gather what samples of tissue and stomach contents were possible. Sharon's arraignment on July 11 resulted in denial of bail, but the Kansas City Court of Appeals struck down the ruling days later, and the prosecution's reliance on circumstantial evidence. She was freed on $24,000 bond on July 18th. After delay in her trial due to advanced pregnancy, Sharon gave birth to a daughter named Marla Christine on January 16, 1961. These are the trials and everything. Let's go on down here. She gets convicted and all that. I'm going to go to the other one. All right, Sharon was returned to the women's prison to serve her sentence. There she was nicknamed La Pistolera, the gunfighter, a nickname subsequently adopted by the Mexican press. On December of 1969, Sharon was not present for a routine 5 p.m. roll call at the ex-Tapalepan prison where she was serving her sentence. Her absence was not officially noted until she also failed to show up at a second roll call later that evening. The news of the escape was not reported to Mexico City police until 2 o'clock the following morning. A manhunt was then arranged, initially focusing on the northern Mexican states, due to authorities' belief that Sharon may have been heading for the last known whereabouts of a former inmate which she had grown close to while they were in prison together. The search also encompassed great countrywide transport hubs and eventually circled back to the Mexico City area. U.S. authorities, including the FBI, were also alerted of Mexican authorities' belief that Sharon may have attempting to work her way back to her native country, but the FBI noted that it was unlikely to have jurisdiction in this case. Initial police speculations that Sharon had bribed guards to look the other way while she escaped from prison. An unusual blackout had been reported at the prison on the evening at the approximate time of her escape. Investigation showed that a door that should have been locked had been left unsecured. Further questioning of prison guards and administration showed that oversight at the prison was generally lax and that it was staffed by fewer guards than it should have been. New reports of the time reported numerous theories about Sharon's escape, including that she had been bribed by prison guards and that she may have enlisted the help of supposed boyfriend who was a Mexico City policeman, that her mother may have been involved in the escape plan, that a former Mexican Secret Service agent had assisted in the escape, and that Sharon may have disguised herself as a man to effect her escape. A more modern theory speculates that Ordino's family helped her escape and then killed her. That's possible. I never thought about that. The intense manhunt was short-lived. By December 18th, the Mexican Secret Service and the Mexico District Attorney's Office were both reporting they were no longer involved in searching for the escaped prisoner, while the federal district attorney was reporting the responsibility for the hunt belonged to the city's district attorney's office. I'm going to put them dunce hats on, y'all. Investigators speculated that Sky had already crossed the border from Mexico into Guatemala, mooting the purpose of a Mexican manhunt. They noted that she was fluent in Spanish after her years in a Mexican prison, and she could therefore get along rather well in nearly any Spanish-speaking area of the world. Despite to keep her case open, the investigation running until Sharon was back in custody. Authorities were forced to admit by the end of December 1969 that they had run out of investigation leads to pursue. More than 50 years after her escape, Sharon Kinne remains at large. Her whereabouts and the ultimate fate unknown. This is her current status. Sharon's arrest and conviction in Mexico had implications for the status of her Missouri legal entanglements. Because she was being held in Mexico on October 26, 1964, the scheduled date for her fourth trial and the murder of her husband, her $25,000 bond was revoked on that date. Although the United Bond Insurance Company, which had posted the bond, agreed that the paperwork irregularities rendered the issuance of her bail monetary implications of her forfeiture. I could always use the money, said Altus, Oklahoma Times Democratic, quoted as her saying, I don't intend to spend all my life in jail. A U.S. $30,000 supersede bond was issued. On August 1964, as the United Bonds Company continued to dispute the payment of the original $25,000 bond. The superseded bond allowed the company to defer payment of the U.S. $25,000 bond until a ruling on the matter was handed down by the Missouri Supreme Court, But when the court upheld the bond's forfeiture, the U.S. $25,000 was paid to the state of Missouri in October of 1965. The United Bond Insurance Company later filed suit against Sharon's family to recover the cost of the bail, lawyer fees, and searching for Sharon after her escape. Shortly before her scheduled Missouri trial date, Sharon's Missouri counsel filed a motion to change the venue of any eventual trial in the death of James Keene, claiming that the news coverage of the Keene case had so prejudiced residents of Jackson County against Sharon that it would be possible for her to get a fair trial there. When Sharon failed to appear for the fourth trial, a warrant was issued for her arrest in October of 1964. It is still outstanding 57 years later, making it the oldest outstanding murder warrant known to exist in the Kansas City area. Sharon's status in the Mexican system also remains outstanding, although authorities have pointed out that at the time of her escape, jailbreak was not a crime under Mexican law. If she was recaptured there, she would only have to serve out the remainder of her outstanding sentence. So, alright guys, her warrant is outstanding at October of 1964. So okay, hold on. I want to see something again. Okay. I'm going to keep checking into this story here and see if they've ever caught her. As of right now, they have not caught her. So I do want to keep checking in on that. And if y'all got any old stories that you want to send in, old, unsolved cases, you can do so right here. Let me go right here. As of right now, you can use this email right here. Well, let me get it. If there's any cases that y'all want me to look at, go and send them to this email right here. And I will go take a look at them. So but guys, Becca goes live in 30 minutes. It's 10, almost 10. Go check her show out because she's talking about Ozzy tonight. Ozzy Osbourne. Send it to that email up at the top, Rift, and I'll check into it and look into it. Thank you, Ghost Devil, brother. And guys, as you know, I won't be live tomorrow. Becca,
I'm going live and talking about hoarding disorder.
she's going live tomorrow night about 10:30 and talk about whoring disorders. Hoarding.
Not whoring. Hoarding.
Sorry. Hoarding. She said, I misunderstood her wrong. Well, it sounded like whore. You gotta pronounce your pronunciations. Mr. Michigan said he'll have to sub up tea. It sounds like a good story coming up. You talking about the Aussie or the whoring? Yeah, but you know I don't go live on Mondays. I will be back Tuesday for the veterans. Coming up either the next month. Mr. Michigan wants to know why can't it be both. Probably the end of next month, or maybe the first of the following month. I'm gonna go over a little bit more of the West Memphis 3. So I know Rocket will be there for that one.
Woohoo! Hey,
So guys, if you're new here, hit that thumbs up, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe button. Rip said, "Hey Becca."
What's up, Rift?
And guys, listen, I'm gonna tell you this straight up. If you got a question about me or anything about me, or if you're hesitant to think that I'm not the real deal person, please come ask me. And if you got to believe some other people and you don't, you're hesitant to believe me, yes, I did get kicked in the no-no part. If you're hesitant to think I'm who I say I am, then you know that you're not supposed to be here. Have a good night, Miss PJ. Thank you for being here. Because I will tell you anything that you want to know. You can go back in any of my videos, and you will find out everything that you want to know about me. I don't care. You can look me up. I gave you all my information. Y'all know where I live. Y'all know what town I live in. You know my real name. You know my record. There is nothing for me to hide. So if you have to unsubscribe because you believe someone else, then you wasn't real to begin with me. Because I've seen in the last couple of days, hey Joni, that a lot of people have unsubscribed to me and to Becca. So if you have to believe something someone else says in a private chat, then so be it. That's fine. I hope you're doing good today, Miss Joni. You'll have to go back and rewatch though, because I'm getting ready to jump off here. It was a short one about Sharon Kinne. Sharon Kinne or Kinne. I can't pronounce the last name, or I'm pronouncing it and just don't know it. I'm doing it right. Well, thank you, Miss PJ. I'm just, I'm not mentioning no names. I don't care. I'm not mentioning anybody's name. We are good. Thank you, Joni. All except for the heat. It's hot as shit. We mention no names here. But people know who they are, and I'll just say it like this: if anybody gets butt hurt over it, then maybe you got to look in your back door. But I don't care about subscribers. You're not subscribers to me. You're family. I don't call you members, or I don't call you subscribers. You're family here. That's the difference. Others call you subscribers. Others call you members. I don't call you that. Once you come in and sign my book, you're family. What's up, Beachy? You are family here. But guys, I am going to get ready to jump off of here. Becca is going live at 10:30. Y'all go over and check that show out. It's going to be about Ozzy Osbourne. And I knew he bit the head off of a bat. I knew that. I knew he got drunk and went out there and done a lot of stuff. That's it, Ghost Devil. My brother from another mother down under. But I love each and every one of you. Y'all be good. Stay safe. Stay dry. And Ghost, I sent you a message in the office there. But y'all please go over and check out Becca and her Ozzy. And tomorrow night at 10:30, her hoarding show. I may have got it wrong a while ago and said whoring, but you know. Yeah, she needs to go over some Ozzy stories too. Like him getting drunk and going out and pissing in the middle of the street and biting the head off of the bat. You just have to look up some of his stories. He got some good ones.
Oh, I'm sure this ain't gonna be the only time I talk about dogs. I'm sure.
But I love each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping in. Remember, like I said, you're not members, you're not subscribers. You're family here. Rocket Queen.
Rocket Queen. Silly.
He got some real crazy stories, Ghost Devil.
This is more about his life, his bio, guys.
And Rocket Queen, if you've never heard of him, you've been drunk for the last 57 years. Guys, also remember R&B this Friday night for the bonfire. Please get your music in at the Nightbot. Put out the email right there. And if there's any cases y'all want me to go over and talk about on Sundays, true crime, be right back to Snorting Ants.
What in the world, Rocket?
Ozzy Snorted Ants.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's in the... It's pinned to the top of the page up there, so y'all go check it out. Me and Becca love you here. The whole Freebird family loves you. White Trash family loves you. You're a Freebird for life, and you're White Trash family for life. So y'all just be good, stay safe. And I forgot to do something at the beginning, and I can't believe I done that, so I'm going to do it now. So y'all give me just a minute. I can't believe I forgot this, so here. Give me just a second.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Hold on a minute, Joni.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Give me just a second, Joni. I think this is how it works. There you go, Joni. Nightbot just put in there. All you had to do is type in exclamation iPhone, and that's the link. Thank you, Beachy. So remember, guys, be good, stay safe. I love each and every one of you. Y'all mean the world to me. Y'all mean the world to Becca. And really, without y'all, we couldn't do what we do, seriously. There's a lot of people that's been true since day one. And I'm going to give you one example that's been true since day one. I mean, since day one before I even started this channel. He's been there since day one, and he better speak up and say me. And he's an Australian fella from across the pond. Ghost Devil has been day one with me before I even started my channels. Now watch him, he ain't gonna say nothing now. Cause guys, seriously, if it wasn't for any of you, I wouldn't be doing this, able to be doing this. But if it wasn't for Ghost, I wouldn't have none of these designs. I wouldn't have none of these backgrounds. I wouldn't have shit on here. I'd be just sitting up here with a StreamYard sign. And if anybody joins and becomes a family member, a Freebird family, he's the one that done them designs for me. He done my Freebird chat and my Freebird joining the Freebirds. He's done every one of these intros, my outros. He designed my little avatar that is now my club insignia. That when I have them made, I don't know if they're allowed to wear patches over there, but he's going to get that patch. And he's going to run my Australian chapter. You're good, Shane. Ain't nobody kicking you to the curb. You've been here too. Well, no, it's just a family patch. It ain't no 1%er. I thought they banned all patches over there. Yeah, you can't hide them tattoos. They can't make you cover. Well, I don't know how the laws are over there. They probably make you cover them up, but I'd make them pay for it and get me a nice tattoo. But again, guys, I done went off on a ramble. Be sure to go over and check out Becca's show tonight. It's going to be a good one about Ozzy. No social clubs, etc. Writing clubs, Vietnam vets, they're all good. Well, White Trash Family is a social then. You're good to go. And it's not a 3-piece patch, it's one center patch. Oh, I see. See, y'all need to come on over here. Although that some places do band patches, but it's not a 3-piece patch, it's one whole patch. Oh, okay. Well, if you're wearing a shirt, they can't say nothing, can they? All right. See, I keep rambling off, guys. All right. Guys, thank you for everything you do. Y'all go check out Becca's. She'll be going live in about 20 minutes. Remember, we love you here. We're true. I'm the real deal. Anything that you want to ask me, please ask me. I will tell you the truth. And then you can look it up if you don't believe me. Yeah, it'd be nice. But again, guys, y'all stay safe. Go over and check Becca out. Show her some love. And I'll see you over on Becca's show. Okie doke. Y'all guys stay good, stay safe. And I'll see you soon. Love you.